So, hello everybody. We're going to be doing a renewal, rebirth, kind of springtime yin practice. This is always a really good practice to take when we've got a period of change in our life. Maybe relationship or job has ended and we're entering this new phase in our life. So as our yin practice, we'll need a few props. So at least a blanket, a bolster, and 2 blocks. But if you would like to get more props, feel free to grab as many as you like, because we do want to be nice and comfortable and be able to settle into the poses for those longer holds. So we'll come straight into our first pose. So our wide-legged child's pose. So you might set up a blanket underneath your knees, just a little bit of extra padding. And we'll set our bolster down the center of the mat. So we want our belly to end up on the bolster. So it's a little bit more grounding with that pressure on the belly, the chest. And if it's a little bit easier to breathe with the head turned to the side, just turning the head off to one side, letting those arms come down gently on the mat so those shoulders are nice and heavy too. Just staying there in your child's pose, taking a few breaths to gently settle into the posture. Getting nice and comfy and finding a position you can sit in for a few minutes. So in our springtime, or in this practice of renewal, rebirth, we're focusing on 2 of our meridians. So our meridians, which are associated a little bit more with detoxifying the body, removing that old stuck waste product and physically processing it through and releasing. But it also helps to remove that old stuck energy, that chi in the body, that old stuck feelings and emotions, the hopes, the ideas, the aspirations we have tied to. So there's 2 meridians we're working on, the gallbladder and liver. So we've got the 2 meridians which run liver inside the leg, up that torso, and that gallbladder outside the leg, all the way up and over the head. So these are the areas during our practice where we're gently stimulating, compressing, and releasing, and allowing that flush of new blood, that chi along the meridian lines to flow just a little bit more freely. So still in your child's pose, allowing that breath to gently slow, allowing it to gently deepen. And so we've got that gentle pressure of the belly, the chest, and that side of the head on the bolster. Maybe taking that inhale a little bit more into the back body, feeling those ribs come up and expand. You might even use your exhale, your sighing out during this practice. So inhale that fresh new energy and chi, that oxygen, and open mouth and exhaling out any of that waste product, any of those old stuck emotions, thoughts, feelings, anything which no longer serves us. Allowing us to stay just a little bit longer. If you had your head turned to one side in your child's pose, you might gently turn it to the other side. We'll take just about 1 more minute in this pose. Maybe allowing the body to sink just a little bit deeper into it. Maybe noticing if your breath has shortened, allowing yourself to lengthen the breath back out. And we'll gently come all the way back up. And just taking a moment in a seat, either kneeling, or if you'd like to come to cross-legged, gently rolling over the knees to your cross-legged. We're taking a few breaths here. Noticing any sensations in that physical body which arise from releasing the pose. Maybe any feelings or sensations of calm. Any thoughts, feelings which arose during the pose or from releasing. Just noticing, not casting any judgment. And we'll gently make our way into our next posture, our reclined butterfly. So as our bolster's already down the center of the mat, we can actually just turn to face the other side of the room. We've got a few options here. Again, blanket can be underneath your hips for a little bit of extra padding. So option 1 is bolster flat against the mat. It's going to be a little bit deeper. Otherwise, we can set up that incline. So using as many blocks as you'd like, as high or as low as you'd like, setting the blocks up underneath that bolster, making sure it's nice and steady, that it's not going to fall off to one side when we come down on it. I recommend 2 blocks. This one just up the end might be a little bit unsteady. So maybe one on the higher setting and one on that medium setting, just below halfway. Once we're set up with the bolster, the blocks, we want our bottom to be just about a fist's width away from the bottom of the bolster. The soles of the feet together. So the closer the feet are to the groin, the more intense the stretch will be in the knees and the groin. The further away they are, the more it's going to release. And when you're ready, we're slowly coming down over that bolster. Once our back's nice and steady, gently allowing those arms to release, readjusting the legs if we need to. We've got an option here for more blocks underneath those knees if we like, if they're kind of hanging high in space and there's a little bit of tension, or we can feel the strain in those hips to hold them there. Allowing the shoulder blades to roll under us so that spine's nice and long. And then allowing that breath to be nice and fluid, nice and smooth and long again. You might notice as we're at the start of our class, maybe your mind still wandering a little bit, ruminating and thinking over different thoughts. Every time you catch yourself outside the room thinking about maybe what you're going to eat next, what you're going to do next, just thanking the thought and then letting it pass by, allowing your mind to quieten again. as we start to approach about halfway in this pose. If you like to intensify the pose and start to bring it a little bit more into that lung meridian as well, opening up the heart, bring those arms, those hands out to about shoulder height. It's going to be more of a stretch along the pecs, the arms. If we can keep those legs in that little diamond or butterfly position. But if you need to, just move those feet a little bit further away from you to release that stretch a little bit. Feel free to adjust and move if there's any pain, pulling, pinching. We should be getting a nice subtle or dull stretch, but no sharp pain. Taking our final few breaths in this posture. We gently want to come out of the pose, how we came into it, gently bring those arms back down by the side. Maybe if we've taken those legs quite far out, a little bit closer towards the body just for stability. And very gentle pressure into those hands. So we can gently start to curl up that spine, come all the way to seated. Taking a little pause here, a little moment at the top, just in our easy seat, that cross-legged position. Taking a few moments to allow yourself to notice the sensations in the body and mind. Gently want to come to our next posture, mermaid. So we've got our bolster on those blocks. We gently want to take the bolster off the blocks. Move those blocks to the side. We might need one for our head, so making sure there's one towards the top of the mat, easy to get. And we want to turn that bolster short ways on the mat. So it's parallel to that short end of the mat. We can keep that blanket up against the bolster as well for a little bit of extra padding on the hip. You might have another blanket at the top for the head instead of the block. We'll bring that right thigh first towards the bolster, so up against that bolster. Now I want to lay all the way down, so as many steps with those hands as you like. So this is where we might send that block underneath the head or the blanket. I'll start with this right arm going parallel to that bolster as well. So we want to find a nice comfy position where the side of the waist is gently pushing into the bolster, but there's no kind of sharp compression or uncomfortableness with the hips or the ribs on that bolster. So once we're nice and comfy in that position, we can slowly start to deepen the breath. And start to settle into the posture. We can adjust the posture as well if we would like to take it a little bit deeper. We're either staying here or we can start to extend that top left hand all the way overhead. So we're reaching for the ground. That's going to start to take the stretch a little bit up the arm, through the lat on that left side. And we can even start to straighten maybe left leg, that top leg, or even both legs out. So we've got a bit more of a banana shape in the body. Finding a nice comfy position as well, where we're not straining too much or holding ourselves in center. Want to find something we can relax into for a few minutes. We'll take our final minute on this side. Gently coming out of the pose, how we came into it. Slowly maybe bending up those knees again if you've straightened them. That top left hand comes back to the bolster for a little bit of stability, a little bit of support. And then we gently want to try and come up, letting that head come up last. So gentle push into the bolster, raising all the way up and just taking a few breaths at the top, especially if we've got some blood pressure issues, allowing our body to restabilize first. We gently want to come to the other side. So we want that left thigh up against that bolster, gently bending those knees and slowly lowering all the way down the left side of the arm on the mat. And taking a few little moments, a few little wiggles to get nice and comfy, finding that position with the bolster where it's gently pushing into the side of the waist, but not crunching into ribs or hip. No pain with the bones or the joints. And noticing maybe the side's a little bit different. Maybe the block or the blanket has to change position slightly. We'll take a few breaths here in this first initial position, allowing your body to adjust. Would like to intensify the pose on this side, or you did on the first side. Slowly taking that right hand up overhead, finding a position where it can gently rest on the ground, so not straining, stretching to hold it there. Noticing how that feels, and then maybe adjusting the legs as well. That top right leg comes out long if it feels nice. Also that bottom leg. So just intensifying that stretch in the side body. So we take more weight over and away from that center line. Maybe a little bit of extra pressure in that side waist. Allowing that breath to still be nice and steady and long. We'll take a final few breaths on this side. And slowly coming out of the pose, how we came into it. So that top hand gently comes back. The legs gently bend in. And gentle pressure into that right hand. We want to take the head up last. So gentle pressure into the hand to raise that torso back up. And just taking a few moments. Few breaths just in a easy seat. Feeling the sensations in the body, that new chi rushing through us. We want to gently make our way onto our backs. So moving that bolster to the side, moving that block to the side. If we want extra padding, we can leave this blanket or slowly extend it so it's a little bit more even for our whole back. So slowly coming all the way down. We want to take our banana asana here. So the arms come up overhead, big stretch out, and slowly walking those hands towards the right, bumping those shoulders as well off to the right. And then those legs as well, walking them out to that right corner of the mat, just moving gently your props away. And maybe hooking that left ankle on top of the right, maybe hooking the thumbs, interlacing the fingers. So we should get a nice big stretch all the way down that left side of the body. But we're trying to keep both hips, both seat bones on the mat, both shoulder blades on the mat. So if we start to feel that we're rolling off to the side rather than side bending, just taking maybe the legs back in, the shoulders back in a little bit till we can stay nice and flat on the mat. Taking a final few breaths on this side. And slowly coming back through center. And we'll take that second side, those legs over to the left, that body, that torso over to the left as well. Maybe hooking right ankle over that left, maybe interlacing the fingers or thumbs. And trying to keep those shoulder blades on the ground, the hips on the ground, but feeling that nice big stretch up the right side of the body. Maybe noticing one side's a little bit different to the other. Taking a last few breaths on this side. And slowly making your way back to center and setting up for your final pose, your Shavasana. Any kind of comfortable position you can rest in for a few minutes to have that meditation, whether it's lying flat on your back, maybe that bolster underneath your legs, maybe sitting upright if a seated position suits you better. And allowing that breath to return to normal. Allowing the mind to slow. And allowing each muscle in the body to gently relax. Melting into the mat. Allowing the mat to hold all of you. You might gently start to draw the awareness back, reawakening the mind and the body, noticing your breath, sensation of your body on the mat again. And very gently inviting some movement back, taking it small, wiggling fingers and toes. Gently starting to take the movement a little bit bigger, rolling wrists and ankles. Maybe that head side to side, opening, closing that mouth, releasing the jaw. Or take a big stretch overhead, big inhale, stretching out every muscle. Opening the mouth and letting everything go. We'll do that again. Big stretch, deep inhale. Opening the mouth and one last time. Big stretch, full deep inhale. Opening the mouth and gently hugging your knees in and rolling to your right hand side. Taking a little pause, a little moment on your side. Checking back in with your body, your mind, your breath. How is it now versus the start of the class, during the class? Maybe setting an intention for your springtime, your time of rebirth, renewal. And whenever you're ready, gently coming up to a seated, trying to get that head up last. Taking a few breaths at the top, just allowing that blood pressure to level out. The body will slowly reawaken. You have a little more time. Feel free to sit a little bit longer, a little bit of a deeper meditation or breath work. Otherwise, we'll close off our practice as hands come to prayer at heart center. And we'll say namaste to each other. Namaste. Thank you, yogis. I hope you enjoyed your springtime practice. Whether you've gone through a period of change, renewal, and just refreshing your body, your mind, allowing that old stuck chi or energy to release and allowing a way for new energy. I'll see you on the mat again soon.